What's up, baby? Hey guys, so today I'm doing a different video to what I usually do. I've done quite a few today, but this is quite a different one. And it's about pro wrestlers and actual wrestling skills. Because I've noticed for the last couple of years, there's been a lot of shit on John Cena about, there's been the chance of you can't wrestle. And like years ago, there never was these chants, but this was before he really was like the absolute face of the WWE, right? So, there was never this before. When they wrestled people like Randy Orton and Edge and shit, there never was these chants. That's because before people didn't really care because he was a doctor of thugonomics. He did loads of insane spots, like Big Show choke slamming him through a spotlight and giving Edge an attitude adjustment, fu through the tables from top of the ladder, and throwing him in the Long Island Sound and things like that. So he could wrestle, and anyone who's seen that, I'm sure it was like an episode special called Beyond the Mat. It was before Cena was famous, but it had like Mick Foley in there and Tony Atlas and things like that. And so like, an aspiring wrestler like Triple H and China were like still young there and shit. And I think Cena gets a lot of shit. I mean, he can wrestle, he can physically wrestle, but he hasn't done it properly, like a proper match, all match for so long. And I don't think it's because he can't. Like, if he can do it, but he chooses not to. And I think I think he chooses not to. And I think because WWE tell him that he's got this ridiculous schedule he had to keep, where he had to do charity events and talk shows and guest appearances and adverts and commercials and shit, right? So him being injured cuts down on their profit massively. If he gets injured in a match and he's got a black eye or broken arm or a torn quadricep or something, their sales are going down because they're not going to stock a T-shirt of someone that's not at the show. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to sell a program if Cena's not in it. And you know what I mean? How much they make on Cena merchandise is ridiculous. And TV spots and guest spots and shit, right? He's a massive part of their intake. So if he's injured, you need to understand that that's not good for business from a financial standpoint, right? You can wrestle, because every time people chant you can't wrestle, he stops doing hip tosses and arm drags and hurricanranas that look horrible and monkey flips and headlock takeovers. He can wrestle, and if you saw his first match against fucking Kurt Angle, you know he can wrestle. He knows how to wrestle. He physically can wrestle, but I think he doesn't. If you look at the line, I don't know why they hate on him so much, because people assume this pretty boy has gone from a doctor of thugonomics to a pretty boy. A lot of it started when The Rock came back and started like insulting Cena. So a lot of people just jump in on Rock's bandwagon. When Rock's been gone for years and years and years and want to focus on movies. So like I don't know where people hate him from. Right. If you look at a list of people who are legends who never really could properly wrestle, Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Scott Steiner, people like them could physically wrestle. Undertaker could wrestle, Sting could wrestle, they could wrestle properly. And I think when people say they can't wrestle, I think they mean like they don't do lockups, they don't do headlock takeovers, they don't do hip tosses or arm drags or waist locks or suplexes or back suplexes or bulldogs or a spinning fucking toe hold or leg drops. And I think that's what they mean. They don't do belly to bellies and T-bones and shit. I think that's what they mean when they mean they don't wrestle or they don't mat wrestle. Okay, like if you look at people who there was a long line of legends that weren't gifted with fucking wrestling ability. Hulk Hogan. Everyone knows who Hulk Hogan is. He was not the best wrestler. He could hardly wrestle fucking at all, and he's had so many knee surgeries. And it sort of surprises me how when he never really took risks like some people did. But obviously, he did it all over a long period of time. He's had like a billion surgeries in his knee because of the pressure he's had over the years. He could get his ass whooped an entire match, and he wouldn't do much. All he'd have to do is power up, 3 punches, big boot, leg drop, game over. No one would kick out, okay? He never had the most amazing in-ring ability. Ultimate Warrior, this one is like he's been pounding into the ground about having no wrestling ability because he was pretty much like a couple of clotheslines, some punches, a scoop slam, and a fucking gorilla press, press slam, and then a big splash on the back. Not the best wrestling ability. Superstar Billy Graham, Bruno Martino, in their days, San Martino, in those days, they didn't really wrestle. All they really did is punch, kick, fucking a 10-minute full Nelson and a body slam. Do you know what I mean? They didn't have the best fucking ability in the world. Ric Flair, not the best ability in the world, but they all had showmanship, and that's what's important. So fucking lay off the guys that have a hard time wrestling because you don't need it to be successful. These guys have proved that you don't need to have all this ability. Okay, so lay off the guys.